Everyone's doing well. So this is the July update for my age domain case study. We published 25 articles in July, just under 50,000 words. So the total now articles is up to 191. So we're very, very close to the initial target of 200 articles. So I should have that finished really over the next few weeks. So we'll definitely be at the 200 article mark for the August update. We still do have another a day remaining for the month of July, but I've just recorded it a bit earlier because it's going to be quite busy over the next few weeks. The site stats, DA and DR and everything has remained the same, so there's no change there. Search console, so this is showing January to date, to the 29th of July. So you can see it's still very much on that kind of slow growth pattern. It did get a bit of a jump here, but honestly, with the amount of content that's on the site, I was really expecting this to be a lot higher than where it is currently. But for whatever reason, this domain just seems to be taking a bit of time really to get traction. Indexing still remains the same. Never had a problem to date with indexing, which is good. Google Analytics. So this is June versus July. So in June we was kind of sitting at just below 100 users a day. Towards the end of June, it did start getting over the 100 mark, and going into July, we've kind of been stuck within this range of just under 200 a day. Again, it's good to see that it's going up. That's obviously positive, but I was really expecting more of an aggressive trend line up, considering it's nearly at 200 articles on the site. This is January to date, so you can see right at the beginning it was very, very flat, and it's just continued on this very, very slow uptrend. But everything else aside, it is going up. So you've got to take the positives, I guess. But I would certainly be lying if I was to say I wasn't expecting it to be much more aggressive, at least after this initial slow stage. But yeah, I just need to keep an eye on it. From a content point of view, I know I think on the last update, someone had added a comment to say that maybe targeted to competitive keywords, but all of the keywords have really been done based on what weaker competitor sites are ranking well for. So it's ultimately been looking at the top ranking pages for weaker competitor sites, and then manually reviewing each keyword. So looking at the first page for each, and making sure that there's a bunch of weaker domains on there. In some cases, there's even some forums and Quora and Reddit. So I don't think there's any issues from the keyword side of it. Not every single one of them meets that criteria. There's a few that are slightly more competitive, but I would say the vast majority of the keywords kind of meet the criteria of there's weaker competitors ranking, there's lower DA and DR competitors in the top five or so positions. So I know there's not an issue from a keyword research aspect. From content itself, generally you've just tried to look at what the top two or the weaker competitors have been doing, and just make a more in-depth article, touching on same or similar topics, but just going more in depth and expanding it out, covering people also ask, and just to make the articles a little bit more more in depth, and the writer that's covering these articles is full time within the space as well. So they're well written articles, and I before they're being published, I'm obviously reviewing them and adding a few tweaks just to make sure that all of the on page boxes are ticked as well. So from that aspect, I kind of can't see any clear problem to say, oh, it must be the keywords, it must be the on page, it must be the content, because all of those I've kind of checked individually myself to make sure that they are on point, and the content itself, I would class it as high quality content. To me it seems a lot better than what the competitors that are currently ranking have put out. So yeah, it is a bit strange. I mean, um, the traction does seem to be quite slow, which is a little bit disappointing. But I think it's just one of those sites. It's just going to take a lot longer than expected. I'm kind of maintaining the thought that it will do well. It's just going to need I don't know, maybe another 4 or 5 months potentially, just to get the traction. Ahrefs data, so the numbers are going up. I mean, you can see that the organic keywords are increasing. Top 10 positions is slowly increasing. Same with top 20 positions. Um, One thing that I have noticed is it's taking quite a long time for the site to capture other keywords. There's obviously, for each keyword that I'm targeting, there's going to be tons of variations, other long tails that each article is going to rank for, and for whatever reason, it's taking quite a long time for each article to actually get a decent bit of traction. Um, like if you look at it at the moment, there's only 2,400 organic keywords, which is very, very low if you think we're nearly at the 200 article mark. And a lot of these articles are they're quite in depth, so they should really be ranking for tons of variations and long tail keywords. So that's why I'm very much on the fence of it's just very, very slow traction at this point. But potentially 4, 5, 6 months time, I'm hoping that it does get that further traction, and we can really start seeing a lot more keyword rankings and the positions just to keep slowly pushing up. So yeah, it's a bit of I guess a patience game at the moment. I mean, it is from a short term site, it is somewhat disappointing, um, because my expectations were that it was going to get a kind of an aggressive boost where it's got some authority. It's going to rank very, very quickly, and it hasn't turned out that way so far. But maybe just need to realign expectations, and give it some time, and just keep positive that it is going to work. But it just needs longer than what was expected initially. P&L side, this is very much the same as the last few, where we've just ultimately got the content costs here. So we've hit 21k, or just over 21k total spent. I've still got another. I think there's slightly more than 9. There might be another 12 articles. So it's going to push us up to over the 22k mark total to get to the 200 articles published. Um, it is kind of one of those situations where right now I'm thinking, oh, maybe I should have just published 100 articles. But it's always that hindsight situation where if I did do 100 articles and it got a lot more traction early, I would have looked back and thought, oh, I should have published I should have published 200 articles. Um, so it is, yeah, it is. It's one of those situations that I must admit I can't help but look back a bit as of the current date and think, oh, I could have bought quite a decent established site for the 20k mark and looked at building it up. But hindsight's a great thing. But I do think going forwards for the next age domain sites that I do, and I am going to do a few more, but I'm not going to use an agency, like niche website builders. I'm just going to do it myself. I haven't done it before, but I mean, I believe it should be pretty straightforward. So I can get a domain maybe on Odys, set up the redirects myself, and I'll probably do it slightly different going forwards. I'll probably maybe get two domains and maybe put like 50 articles on each and just let them sit for like 4, 5, 6 months and see which one's performing better, and then whatever one's getting the most traction, I'll just run with that one and just keep adding more content to it. So yeah, few ideas going forwards. But ultimately, I do want this site to do well. I do really want to grow it out. I mean, it's got pretty much unlimited keyword potential. It's a massive niche area. But yeah, I think I'll just continue being patient. When I get to December time, I think I'll have a much better grasp then, really, of where the site's heading. If it's still a little bit flat and not getting, that big kind of boost of traction by, towards end of the year, I'm probably going to look at maybe going through an initial batch of the articles from Search Console and just look to maybe update and optimize them a little bit just to see what that does. But for now, I think just need to keep monitoring it. So for next month, I'll do another update, and then we should have the 200 articles done by then. And then going forwards, I'll continue doing a monthly update, but there's not going to be additional content added. It's more going to be of monitoring to see how the site's doing, like traffic levels, and just a quick monthly update from there. So yeah, thanks a lot for everybody that's following along. If you're not subscribed, really appreciate it, and if you could also hit the thumbs up button, that would be great as well. Thanks a lot.